In 2013, the government focused on finding ways to reduce the cost of electricity for Jamaicans, even as it brought more rural communities into the light and into the information age, and pursued prime projects for growth. This was the mandate and the mission of the Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining. 2013 was a busy year for the Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining, as the administration laid out its strategies to improve the lives and fortunes of the Jamaican people by growing the economy and creating jobs. One huge growth area: red mud. Early in the year, the ministry acted on plans to tap into the country's red mud resources from bauxite mining activities, positioning the mining sector for major foreign exchange earnings.
The commodity that will be extracted are currently being traded at rates up to 3,500 US per kilogram. Mr. Speaker, when you compare what we get per ton for our alumina, just about $330, you can see that it is clear that this resource presents an opportunity Jamaica must pursue and which must be managed in such a way that Jamaica and our people benefit significantly.
A deal was signed with Japanese company Nippon Light Metals and ground broken on February 4 for the construction of the rare earth elements extraction pilot project plant. 7 months later, the plant was officially opened and is now in full operation.
We have tremendous hope for the realization of a fully commercialized project, and we believe that this pilot plant will prove it.
Research now underway involves the processing of the red mud to extract rare earth elements, which are vital in the manufacturing of numerous high-tech products. Decisive steps were taken to realize the 360 megawatt combined energy plant, which is expected to reduce Jamaica's oil import bill and provide cheaper electricity for the productive sector. In September, after a formal bidding process, the Office of Utilities Regulation (OUR) named a preferred bidder for the project. But after a jurist Cambridge failed to come up with the $6.9 million security deposit, the OUR moved on to the next bidder in line, Hong Kong firm Energy World International. With security bond posted, plans are now being finalized for construction of the plant. And while that process was in train, Portfolio Minister Philip Paulwell announced the 115 megawatt renewable energy project. He said the planned plant would eventually satisfy 12.5% of Jamaica's energy needs from renewable sources. During the year, government also issued close to 120 licenses for net billing, a system where license holders can generate their own electricity, use what they need, and sell any additional power to the national grid. Over $20 million was spent to bring electricity to 8 rural communities across the island. The project, which aims to provide a more comfortable way of life for residents, was undertaken by the Rural Electrification Program (REP). Some energy issues at the pumps were also addressed. With the introduction of ultra-low sulfur diesel in June, motorists with newer diesel models breathed a sigh of relief, knowing their vehicles could now operate to manufacturer's specification. And Jamaicans in more places were given access to the internet in 2013. The Technology Ministry opened close to 80 community access points called CAPs across the island to help create a broader knowledge-based society and act as a window to the opportunities created by the Information and Communications Technology ICT sector. Amendments to the Telecommunications Act in the year strengthened the powers of the Universal Service Fund to carry out this function. In 2013, the Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining (STEM) encouraged Jamaicans to draw on their creative genes and come up with innovations in science and technology that would lead to new business and create jobs. STEM partnered with other ministries to execute the Digital Jam 2.0 to teach young people how to develop mobile apps. The Kingstown Animation Workshop to tap into the growing opportunities in the global animation industry, the National Innovation Forum to steer youth into money-making innovations, and startup workshops to provide support for those ventures. government took action to strengthen legislation to help reduce the global threat of cybercrimes in the island. On October 1, amendments to the Cybercrime Act were tabled in Parliament and later passed. The bill is to be presented to the Senate in 2014. The proposed changes to the legislation mean that under Jamaican law, emerging types of cybercrimes will now be considered criminal offenses. Penalties for cybercriminals will be harsher, and the law will be reviewed every 5 years, so Jamaica can stay current.
The reality is that as you move more and more of your communications online, as you try to use the internet, there are greater risks that are involved. And we are ensuring as a country that we have both the legislative and regulatory framework, but also the mechanisms to protect ourselves from cybercriminal activity.
In addition, a cybercrime task force comprising government and private sector players was established in June to create a framework that will facilitate and improve confidence in the use of cyberspace.
ICT being a basis for improving efficiencies within business is certainly something which is central to what we have to do.
With that said, the ministry spearheaded the introduction of e-government and GovNet projects to centralize the communication infrastructure of all ministries, agencies, and departments. It's a paperless system which will reduce operational costs in the public sector by storing information digitally. And as part of efforts to maximize the educational benefits of the digital age, STEM joined forces with the Education Ministry to craft a plan to provide computer tablets for students and teachers at 37 schools island-wide. Procurement for the 30,000 tablets began during the year. Distribution in this $850 million initiative will take place in 2014. The Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining, facilitating economic growth, entrepreneurship and business opportunities, improving efficiency, security and living conditions, helping to move Jamaica forward by fueling growth.